So it's my tent where I'm sleeping, and I stay in the desert. I learn Arabic and I learn poetry. It's very quiet and peaceful, calm, everyone's calm. And yeah, so it's a camp with about, I think there's five guys, and they run a tourist place, and people come from, I drove about 7 hours to get here from Marrakesh, and they arrive in Zagora and then come another 7 kilometers to the sand dunes of the Sahara Desert. And it's great. I learn tagine, I learn to cook, and I help, I clean, and there's not a lot to do during the day, so I thought maybe I would share a poem. I'm going through my poetry to see if it's any good. And this is on love. You left me in the winter, in the drawing on my shadows, an ethnography of family, of doubts that hurt, the munters, their bloom of petals, those people that meet at my table, in the love that levels with the heart, an unavoidable south, blessed with wine from the bleeding of the divine, the whakapapa of my people, a Pacific cultural spell, in a whitewash of social expectations, forevermore to transcend the character of God in the bowel of the soul, knowing my window frame from the inside out. Another poem. It is painful when love runs out. It's a plug that has been pulled, and the source of light lives no more. Where does it go in the void? A gap that holds space. Infinitely empty nyctophilia, a serpent in the garden of unknowing and uncertainty, of death. Lost your light, now I'm in the dark. I've called out and you've switched off, and I'm the child of a victim, a domestic abuse tool, a mum in eggshells and paper-thin dresses, hugs on the hips and tragic loss, out of control, unsustainable and hurt. New poem. My heart's been wrenched with a spanner, twisting its bolts to peak performance. The hibernation of my throw-out bearings stopped releasing, stopped the system, blocked access, disruption, pressing down, cannot connect, and shifting into gear and slipping into neutral. My clutch discs fall apart, power with no wheels. When are you ringing me? My blue crayon isn't working, and the funeral of coal dims the sound of the birds, and my throw-out engine releases, oblivious to my movements. New poem. I have cut my finger on your thorn. The blood is angry, its eruption mourns. The morphous clots the sting like a wasp, pumping smooth venom into the sky. White, Anglo-Saxon, wasp, W-A-S-P. We anticipated ecstasy, and we made it happen over and over. Now I am in an aftermath of thorns, tugging and clutching my hem, unraveling the threads, watching petals fall, and listening to them land on the ground in a heap, fade into the abuse, my abuse and device of power, hurting in a bloated mirror, my Alice, caves and towers, in worlds and vertical lines and small heads. A love poem. Dear Sovereign, thanks for your update, and I wanted to ask you, are you the light through my wounds or just my wounded moment? Does your arrow turn into a flower or just pierce right through me? Are you abolishing mothers? The mother is a sacred space. It's a sanctuary, and after all, it is the most intimate and divine love. And it is always welcome, never ceasing. It is a wisdom and a knowing that is a river that is never lost. Everyone can have this. Everyone comes from a womb, and mothers are never forgotten in the evolved earth and at conception of heaven. Mothers are the fertile ground for the release state of heaven. Just going to read you all my love poems. So here's another one. My heart is a beast, your heart is stone, and I'm dreaming of a golden time to come. I'm smoking up here in agony and full of fear at what we might do should I get to soften that heart in you. A new poem. Cold air soaking into my skin, I am alone, falling in stillness. No more seeds, only yellow leaves. On the ground, under the naked trees, charcoal shadows and smooth silver forms waiting silently. A new poem. It was your birthday today, and as I beat my feet into the hill, I remember you this time last year, where we sat under the umbrella on the sand, drinking champagne. You never went swimming, and I went deep, and the cold tingle on my skin, gently rocking in the waves. In the years, imagining and amusing myself with pleasure and love. You always made it about me. Where did it go out there in the sea, now only a memory? Would you have reached me if I cried out? Or were you just a stone that held its shape and gave variation of light, so that when I was close I could blend in with you and be the lonely, heavy longing? Those times we spent somewhere and you were silent about everything, and I talked my dreams and wanted, and you made them happen, mostly. And I was thinking about what it was that we never had. You did all that and more and paid the price. And in the end, all we have is ourselves, and all we need is love, and a pianist playing a slow, sad tune in a forest on a rainy day. And my heart will always remember those notes on your birthday. New poem. Lamenting over Hugo at Bob's Cave, soaking wet, gorgeous in an orange bikini, drinking out of the bottle the 2-for-1 Canadian Club rum, orange blend and whiskey, not rum. The hunter comes like a thief in the night to take the hay stores of winter food for the army, and the summertime of love and wild dreams in the garden of little paradise. Disarmed vulnerability, judged heart, fuck up, adult fantasy in mind, still contemplating danger. New poem. Catching your tears in my deep ocean heart, walking on the waves and scribbles. Are you feeling, mountain? The moon is catching my drift. The moon has changed its mind. Intoxicability, your magic? Have you caught your breath? Don't turn out the stars. I want you to see me under a gentle gaze in the moonlight. Actually, that poem, it's very unedited, and I changed it a lot just then, so it's probably not great. Let's try this one. A love poem. Window, open breeze, dry mountain dust, fresh rose, road works and fades. Meet you in the car park and walk with you up some stairs, buying bug spray. And we spent most of our day lying around in the tent with thousands of bloodsuckers hovering above us in the net. We walked in the sunlight through the trees and hung around mountain boulders and snow melts gushing, rivers crossing in long grass and wildflower fields, sun baking my back as we swam nude in the glacier water and we drank from its spring. A bottle of whiskey and some madness with sex, and walking out of there, I wanted to go home with you. Detached. Lover sat at the old oak table, morning dew relaxing on the windowsill edge. I smell his salt and maple sweat and delay, the long grass and hen's eggs den in the moonlight ray. White cotton wrapped across my breast, floating feet in warm air and at rest. Slipping into the black leather shadows, the jackrabbits in their burrows, pulses beating and pattering of rain. Outside the door opens wide, and I'm still in my prison, my eyes bright as stars, and the dawn stealing them away, and emancipating his heart's weakness to stay, as it catches the branches of the red plum tree, holding on to the ripe moments that beat to the branches in the breeze. So I've been editing my poems, and here's a version of an early one I read. You left me in winter on the drawing of my shadows, an ethnography of family etched in the marrow of doubt. The mantas, the people I meet with faces that linger, at my table of love transactions, where hearts lay bare in vulnerability, an unavoidable self, blessed with wine from the bleeding of the divine. And I drink the whispers of whakapapa and the roots winding through the earth, a Pacific cultural spell, a whitewash of social expectations. In the dance of shadows and light, I find myself woven in the fabric of those before me, transcending the character of God, where pain meets purpose and winter gives way to spring. So you can let me know what you think about that one. A new poem, My Love Journey. My love journey with you has travelled endless tears, and every time I say goodbye, the veil of love is lifted, and a closer knowing of each other is revealed. To know what love is and its price, grief, its oxygen, pain, a layer upon layer that only unites when everything falls apart and is lost and then found in self, an array of light, beaming into darkness and bursting out divinely, a new creation, in the chaos of memory cells, an Allison inspired, peaceful, perfect love that is boundless in freedom, waving its banner on the hill of my heart. Well, I forgot that I wrote this poem, but it's called Non-Negotiable. Gifts are non-negotiable. Movie scripts, the one that you write to yourself, the one where forgiveness has no boundaries, where you swim in all you are, coming in like the tide that rises the many talons, your dancing in your glitter, on a Polaroid monotone stage. Well, I hope I wrote that. I can't remember. It's in my collection. I don't think I'd put it here if it was someone else's. But actually, that's not uncommon for me to write something and completely forget. So I've got a whole bunch of poems that I'm unsure about. Here's the first one. It's called Tulips. There is rain inside my head that won't go away. It's there when I wake up and when I go to sleep, and when I look in the mirror and when I visit the gallery. When I walk on the street, it is there. It's the type of rain that makes you stay in bed, pattering on your brain cells inside your head, running down the brain stems, filling the bathtub with emotion, and looking out the window, wondering if it's installed right. The tulips don't seem to glow in the trench inside my mind, and as I dig, and I don't know when to sleep and when to stop planting tulips, wishing it would rain on them. And a new poem, another unknown. The divine in the dark, photography that never lies, reveal its light. It travels through the chaos, hits objects and layer upon layer, arrested in the hands. The 1950 power poses, grooming for the psychiatric experiments, and the wired prefrontal performances on the 21st floor. Yes, I remember writing that poem. It was in reflection to an art gallery I visited in Bangkok, Thailand, and I saw some crazy photography. This is the poem I wrote. It's good to do, to write some reflections on something you see. Okay, here's an FIY for Vietnam. The coffee is shit. The diluted wasteland of the fake Eiffel Tower, the fake Paris, the revelation of my pillars, the erected sensory numbness beyond the meat sack of the bones, finding a new song and learning in the space growing of an internal paradise, stepping over the poo and crumbling the waistlines. Where's my coffee? And I want you. Ice with your nice face and your yoga race, glaze of undeveloped sewers, a storm of humidity exiting my pillars, a delusion that is real, not like the dream. It's a hot terracotta under my feet and a chalkboard of cactus, communication outside myself, asking for Paris and getting a dog bone instead, and pottery in your head. Oh, poetry, and 12-year-olds fishing. Another crazy poem. I am swimming. I am swimming in an abyss, a deep, immeasurable space, in a vast chasm without end, impossible to measure, to define, or comprehend. And I am swimming in the abyss of grief and sorrow, learning to survive my own flood, going under into the grief grinder of my thoughts, my illusion and my realities, searching myself, connecting and responding and asking, what is it that motivates consciousness and to ultimately be who you are in the world?